Peace and welcome to my 10-month check-in with No Nicotine. Thanks for joining me in this journey of experiencing how it is without nicotine. And this has been 10 months since I've quit nicotine. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing what it's like, after 10 months of quitting nicotine, what it's like mentally, what is it like emotionally, what is it like spiritually, and what is it like physically 10 months after quitting nicotine. So after quitting nicotine, physically, as you can imagine, along the journey without nicotine, you start to be absolutely non-dependent and non-detached to nicotine. And this happens pretty fast once you quit. And it just continues to grow even more, and then your resilience to be able to be around it also actually gets larger and larger. For example, if you ever got exposed to nicotine, or if you ever got exposed to any smoke, you would be okay. And what I noticed 10 months after quitting, what I've noticed 10 months after quitting nicotine is that physically, if I see someone that has a vape, or I see someone that's smoking or using nicotine, I see it, and then I just look past it. Like, it no longer really gains my attention and or really stands out to me anymore. So really physically detaching from it at 10 months, I realized that, like, I saw two back-to-back earlier before recording this video, and it just really went in, didn't really think much about it, and it went out, like a normal thing. So it holds no weight or over you once you have quit, and you're able to detach from it physically, detach from it to where, of course, you no longer depend on it, right? I mean, it's been 10 months without it, so I'm bound to have grown on and moved on physically, and now also healed physically out of this addiction, and healed what damages had possibly been done physically just through the habit, through the addiction, through the nicotine use. But physically, 10 months after quitting, it doesn't have any effect on my physical state of being. Like I've said it before in my videos, I've been around, like I've told stories on my channel before. Go check out my other video, guys, if you haven't seen them. There's a lot of good information in there. A lot of gems that I've put on here for you guys, especially when it comes to stories about how I was around nicotine smoke, and I was really challenged and just tested in ways that kind of made me stronger through this journey. So like, I've told those stories on my channel in previous videos before, so I think that it goes to show that physically, you really benefit from detaching from nicotine. It really has its benefits in the long run, and even right away in the short term, it has its benefits. You're going to sleep better, you're going to breathe better. All these things that are going to be better, and that are going to allow you to put that in, use your physical state of being in things that are more guided toward things that will help you to grow and to essentially change that habit and turn it into something that works in your favor. Mentally, what have I noticed after 10 months of quitting nicotine? Well, mentally, I noticed that For sure, there is always a memory of the time that I was, in the cycle of using nicotine, and, for 5 and almost 6 years using the nicotine, using the vapes, where during those times I had thoughts about, I don't know how I'm ever gonna quit, or will I ever quit, or how hard will it be, or will I even enjoy myself once I quit? Will I even have a good time once I stop using the nicotine? How will I have, peace of mind when I quit the nicotine? And whereas now, 10 months after quitting the nicotine, I find myself saying, how could I not have stopped 10 months ago? Where would I be if I hadn't stopped 10 months ago? I couldn't imagine not stopping 10 months ago, and I think it just goes to show that mentally, whatever you tell yourself, or whatever your thoughts are, they tell you something about how your mental state of being is really important in dealing with all other states of being, and why it's important to take care of the mental state of being, because if you don't listen to those thoughts, then you're going against that, and you don't want to do something that you haven't actually made the decision mentally to follow through with, because you're just causing resistance between the two. You're just causing more issues, more stress, and yes, so whereas before you would have ideas of, hey, will I ever quit, blah 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 blah, but now when I have quit, and 10 months after, I realize that now that I have I can't imagine if I didn't, or I can't really imagine wanting to continue the use of nicotine after 10 months without it. And that's because with the mental state of being used to kind of support whatever it is that you are geared towards applying yourself towards. So when I made the decision to quit nicotine, I thought that, I would essentially not be the same mentally, or feel as if I wouldn't be able to exist, or I wouldn't be able to quite be able to articulate through my words or anything like that, or I wouldn't be able to access my so-called flow mentally that I had before. And that's nothing from the truth. Neither is that from the truth that I won't be able to enjoy myself, or even experience good times, and experience times of bliss, and times of nirvana, and times of really good moments of, I guess you would call it, high vibing times. And that's not the truth, because I can tell you right now, 10 months, I've done this for 10 months, and it has been a journey, let me tell you that. I would recommend this for anyone to do with anything, no matter, this is just nicotine, but you guys can do it with anything. And that's what another thing I've noticed mentally is recently, and as of this 10-month check-in, want to tell you guys that I want to apply my mind to many more things, and to get into things that I will start to think about things in a different perspective, and a broader, a bigger perspective is what I mean to say. And through this, I want to just be able to teach and also learn more, and to just continue on the path and continue on the journey regardless. So that's mentally. And spiritually, what have I noticed, 10 months with quitting nicotine and 10 months after the original decision to stop using? Well, I feel like I've talked about before in almost a lot of my videos, is the spiritual path that I feel I've gotten put on now that I have stopped my use of nicotine, and also the that work of doing something that will possibly help others and possibly change and help to spark the light within someone else to be able to be in a better position themselves, because that was something that was important to me. And once I did quit nicotine, I realized that there is an opportunity for me not to get mad, not to hold it against other people that I'm sacrificing and they're not, but to be a voice and not to yell and get angry and to not listen to what other people have to say and just only want to hear what I want to hear and not understand my part that I have to play. But no, I can be a voice, and I can also try to speak directly and not have to raise my voice necessarily, although there are times when that's necessary, but it's just for a figure of speech. So that's something that I've learned. I've learned a lot of things spiritually for sure on this path, and I continue to learn each experience after the next. Spiritually, you feel a lot more free when you don't have to support an addiction that feels as if it's holding you back. So it'll allow you to do things that you hadn't previously been able to do. And also develop, in different ways that you maybe not had been aware of spiritually beforehand. So that's what I've realized as of recently, spiritually, after 10 months with quitting nicotine. And for the last one, we have emotionally. I've noticed this the whole journey emotionally, that as soon as I've stopped depending on nicotine to feel good, my emotional strength kind of went just up, and it just kept building and building and building. Where I am today is definitely experiencing good emotions, ones that I for sure know that are continuing to support my journey and support my path that I have lined up for me, and that I'm pretty much creating for myself as we speak. And I've realized that the more and more I step into my power, the more I feel I am emotionally fulfilled, and I'm self-fulfilling myself emotionally, not depending on something externally. And when there are times when I feel like I'm depending on something else externally, or I feel like I need something, I'm always reminding myself what that is and how it's being carried out. And through that, I'm able to be in support of my actions all the time and not have conflicting feelings with conflicting thoughts, or conflicting feelings with conflicting feelings, or and the vice versa, in the mental state of being conflicting thoughts with conflicting thoughts. I've been able to definitely be more just clear and concise when it comes to how I feel about something, and if I do feel a certain way, being able to assert and to communicate that clearly, which is of course something I'm working on all the time. But then it's about the emotional maturity to be able to recognize what is going on in this issue that is deeper than I might on the surface level, and this goes into other things where I have to look at it at a much deeper level and realize that okay, I cannot hold these negative emotions in. I have to, regardless, I have to deal with them, and to hopefully, and I recommend, and I'm trying to strive to do this as well myself, is to always not hold on to the negative energy, but push off positive energy. That way, if you do realize that you're holding on to that negative energy, just be like, all right, we got that going there. You're not gonna just hold on to the negativity, hold on to the hate. As well as you can, you should try to deal with it and just don't think about it as much as possible. Therefore, it'll eventually go away, and you'll really, the less you even pay attention, you'll understand that there's other things that are more important than just the petty or the knee-jerk reactions and or momentary sadness or momentary lesson of emotions or not being fulfilled 100% of the time. It's about knowing your worth and knowing that you stepping into that power, stepping into your worth will only bring what you want out of it. Even if the scenario you find yourself in is not exactly what you wanted, or you're still in challenging, or it's challenging you, that's gonna make you feel good. You're gonna want to feel challenged. You're gonna embrace those emotions. As long as they're coming through your holistic experiences in the world, and not just some artificial device that you have that can make you feel good at the press of a button, or by smoking something, or by chewing something. But yeah, emotionally, I've noticed in the emotional state of being after 10 months of quitting nicotine is that I have the perspective that I could delve back into, and I'm not holding myself in any energy that is odd, that is off. I'm not going to hold on to stuff like any projections from out there on. I'm not going to hold that in, and it's not going to be something that I carry in, because that's more important. I have to constantly remember that it's important to step into your power, and that it is not always going to go smooth sailing. Sometimes there's going to be difficult times, there's going to be challenges, there's going to be roadblocks, there's going to be things that have to be worked through, and that goes along with the emotional journey, and the just always ready to push forward and embrace what you're feeling and be able to use that in your advantage. So it's like this, like I'm gonna tell you, I was just kind of got off on a tangent, but I was talking previously, like a few sentences before, about not being so hard, saying, okay, I'm on this journey, I gotta count how long I go without the nicotine, because at a certain amount of time, boom, I'm gonna be able to go back to it and experience the good times again, and be able to use in moderation. Be aware about it, still constantly being aware, but then be able to use in moderation. So, I'm not even holding on to that anymore, because even at the beginning of the journey, I was telling myself, like, hey, I could stop talking about this stuff now, and I could figure something else to do. But something in me, my intuition told me to just keep on rocking, keep on pushing, and keep on grinding. You're on the right path. I just had that sense, and so I continued on, and here I am today with that behind me, and knowing that I'm continuing forward through each experience. And it was, hold on a second. Right, so about the, holding yourself to that, it's not about that. It's about being there to support yourself no matter what you're going through. So in any of the judging, I just have had to tell myself, hey, grow up. You know that you can't for sure say that you want to trade places with these people that you see that are continuing on using, and that looks like they're enjoying themselves, but you really know the truth about it. So I have to constantly remember that, and that helps me stay on my path. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the support. Subscribe if you're new to my channel. I would appreciate that. Like, comment, let me know if you guys have any questions. That's going to be it for the 10-month check-in with No Nicotine. Peace.